Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to a brand new video here today, and we have got some more DLC for the F1 2021 game. I'm not gonna lie to you, I completely forgot this DLC was still overdue to the game, but it's the F2 2021 season. Very much like last year on F1 2020, it's taken a long while, pretty much now, with one race to go till the end of the real-life season, we're getting this DLC. But it's finally here, the full F2 2021 grid with the current crop of drivers, including Guan Yu Zhou, who is obviously going to be making this step up to Formula 1 for the Alfa Romeo team next year. Obviously also including other hot prospects like Piastri and Portier, and of course the F2 cars themselves are very interesting actually, because they've got the new 18-inch tyres, which Formula 1 will be adopting as well. So whether the handling is drastically different compared to the F2 2020 cars, I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. I will admit it'll be hard for me to fully judge because I don't use the F2 cars very often. I haven't used the 2020 F2 cars that much. I did a few times on last year's game, but overall 18-inch tyres obviously make a bit of a difference in terms of the sidewall, the kind of travel you have with the forces going on through the tyres, and then also I believe the 18-inch tyres are slightly heavier and add to the weight of the car, which makes a big difference potentially for the F2 cars, as it's really mostly about momentum. Obviously a bit lower speed than Formula 1, so more weight is going to make a bit of a difference in terms of maybe the weight shift or transfer. I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. Let's go into a race at Abu Dhabi, which is going to be the finale, of course, for the F2 Championship as well.
Welcome then to the United Arab Emirates. Our F2 drivers are on the grid, and we're moments away from lights out for the start of the Formula 2 Abu Dhabi race. So the Yas Marina circuit offers 21 corners and a lap distance of around 3.4 miles. There are a few opportunities to pass with long straights and DRS zones in two places, turns 8 and 11. Plenty of close racing then, plenty of speed, and plenty of excitement for the fans, no doubt. I'm sitting here, quite emotional, next to my friend Davide Valsecchi. Here we are at the end of the F2 calendar, and the atmosphere is electric. I have no doubt that the drivers will be giving it everything they have out there today. I can't wait to get underway.
Hey Alex, you are absolutely right. It's a very special place. This is a track like no other, an event like no other, a jewel in the crown of Formula 2. It's perfect. I think we are in for a fantastic racing event here.
So here we go then, we got a 25% race of the feature race of F2, so that ends up being 8 laps then of Yas Marina as we go to 5 red lights, and we're going to be underway under the floodlights. We're driving as Piastri here in P9, so let's see how far up the order we can get. 3 wide up the road as Armstrong makes a massive dive bomb down the inside of Guan Yu Zhou in the Alpine liveried F2 car. Of course though, he's moving and jumping ship from the Alpine Academy all together to drive for Alfa Romeo next year alongside Valtteri Bottas. And actually, some of you pointed out, quite ironically and funnily enough, he's actually in that lineup in my current My Team career mode with Valtteri Bottas. They're just both at Williams at the moment, funnily enough. But anyway, we overtake Guan Yu Zhou eventually. We had to kind of do it twice because I actually went a little bit off the road while still going around the outside, trying to get to grips with this. As I said, fully admit, I don't drive F2 cars maybe enough, because they are actually quite fun cars. At the end of this race, I actually thought it was quite a fun one to do, but I just don't have the time to race them too often. Obviously, there's not too much content I do on the channel with F2 cars, so, getting used to it and kind of relearning how to drive these cars pretty much on this opening lap and getting used to everything. But I can feel like there is a difference between the 2020 F2 cars. I don't know whether it's from just directly the 18-inch tyres or whether just also the different handling model of this game, obviously, because the F1 cars obviously are different to last year in terms of the way they handle, especially at low speed, and F2, the low speed, such a crucial point of these cars because there's that lack of downforce at low speed. You kind of have to always roll the car through, try and not lose momentum, and so maybe because the handling model has drastically changed at low speed on this game in general, it means that these cars also feel different, because I haven't actually even tried the 2020 cars on this game, because my only reference point is from last year's game, really. So it may just be the handling model in general. But we're doing quite well here, trying to go around the outside of Lundgaard. Doesn't quite work out. We're going to have to try and wait for the main straight. No DRS quite yet, so this will be a pure natural overtake in the slipstream. Looking at the back of Lundgaard now, gaining, and there we go. The slipstream comes into play. A little bit weaker than we see in F1 at the moment in my team career mode, but nonetheless, we go for a move on the outside there. Lundgaard going over the curb a little bit, and so we're able to get to the inside and squeeze him out, and we're up into P7. Now we can try and catch up to Drogovic up in P6, and we pass up the Grand Prix now as we enter lap 3, and the DRS is available. We're finding some good time as we go very aggressively over the curbs, really wrestling this car through and trying to keep up the speed mid-apex there, and really catching Drogovic napping a little bit mid-apex. We go around the outside, no, to the inside instead. A little bit of fake there, but he defends quite well. So, you know, we've seen improvements in the F1 category with the AI defending. You know, we've seen that time and time in the episode so far in my team career mode, and so it looks like it's crossed over to the F2 drivers. And we're able to get up into P6 through the hairpin, but we are going to get re-overtaken potentially because we're a sitting duck. No DRS. We're 1.3 behind Armstrong, and so Drogovic comes back at us then, flies past. We're going to try and outbrake him into the next left-hander. Easy does it on the right. Nearly made some contact there, just about to squeeze him out and keep it a lot cleaner than maybe the F1 drivers were at Jeddah yesterday. We're setting, well, actually, no, that's an AI setting fast up the Grand Prix, so I thought I set a pretty damn fast time compared to these guys there, but Zendelli there in P8 setting an even quicker time, so the AI also getting up to speed and finding some speed. Obviously, there's no tyre warmers in F2, so, you know, at the start of the race, maybe the tyres are really not in the optimum, and so you could probably get a bit more of a sweet spot as we go on through this entire race. We now get Armstrong pretty easily, and now we can try and catch up to Desani. I will say, I've noticed with this, and this happened last year when the F2 cars came in for the DLC last year, this time last year in November or December, that the AI, you know, the pace of certain drivers, the AI and the teams is a little bit, well, unrealistic, I would say, because you've got the two Carlin boys up at the top. Now, I don't watch a lot of F2, but I know that Carlin haven't been throwing that well right up the sharp end here. We're driving as Piastri, one of the better drivers right now on the grid for F2, but it, you know, automatically puts us in P9 when I went to, you know, obviously just went to the race for a quick race, so it just, you know, places where it is on the grid. So it happened last year, because I remember a lot of you guys were commenting on this DLC video on F1 2020 that there are certain AI drivers that were just way too high for where they've been performing. Obviously, you know, people like Pourchaire, he should be this high. Pourchaire, a brilliant talent in F2 at the moment, but there are a few people like the two Carlin boys, I would say, and Nissani as well, that are maybe a lot higher than you would generally, you know, expect them to be on the F2 grid. So last year, I remember they had to do some balancing and do another patch to rebalance those AI and rebalance the, you know, the performances. So I wonder if they'll do that again, and so it kind of seems a bit curious. It's the same sort of thing again, that F2 comes in late and it's still got some balancing issues when it comes in. But I mean, I know also I'm going to address it as well. I know the comments are going to come here as well. We're here at Abu Dhabi, you know, there is no, you know, new layout for Abu Dhabi. It is a shame, you know. Obviously I can understand why they don't have it. It takes a lot of time to do these things, and obviously they were focusing on the new tracks, the completely new tracks we're getting. I really hope next year's game will have the new Abu Dhabi. We should do, obviously, because it's going to be a permanent feature now, the new Abu Dhabi, where this entire section right here, as we're fighting Pourchaire, really lovely battle there side by side, this entire bit's been nuked. It's no longer there. It's now a banked left-hander that swoops into this very straight. So all those little 90-degree kinks we won't have anymore, and the last sector is all rounded off. And this run-in, there's not this left and right. It's a run-in smooth into this hairpin that should help some overtaking potentially with some dive bombs down the inside, and generally also getting a better exit than maybe into this straight as well. But yeah, it's not here on the F1 2021 game, because I saw Codemasters earlier uploaded a video, and I was seeing in the comments there that people were already commenting about not having Abu Dhabi. So yeah, it's not in. We kind of, you know, if you follow along with the news, you knew it wasn't going to be in, but I'm sure there's going to be some casual viewers that maybe didn't know it was never going to be in. They never planned for it to be in, but next year, hopefully it will, and we can have some better racing around Abu Dhabi. Not to say we don't already have that in the game, obviously. In real life, Abu Dhabi's a little bit hit and miss, but in the game, there's always been some great racing in Abu Dhabi because the F1 game can turn any track into a good track, really, just with the slipstreaming and the way the computer AI sometimes drive. But we've had a really good end to this race. A little frustrating, we're so close to Dan Tickton there. I think one more lap and we would have got first place there, so this has been a really nice drive. And as I said earlier in the race, by the end of this one, on this lap, I was really enjoying it. I got into the swing about to drive these cars. I felt like on this game, it was easier to get up to speed with these F2 cars than F1 2020. I don't know whether that's because of the low speed handling changes and that made the F2 cars easier to drive in low speed, or it's the 18-inch tyres. I don't know, but I got up to speed a little bit better, I felt, with this generation of F2 cars compared to the last year's game. But that has been some F2 2021 gameplay. Now, I said incorrectly that Jeddah was going to be the last DLC. This is now fully the last actual new content DLC. Any other further patches will be just fixes to multiplayer, potentially, single player issues or whatever. But in terms of actual new content to the F1 game, this will be, I believe, unless they have a surprise for us next year, this will be the last new content we will see on F1 2021. It will just be tweaks from now on. So guys, if you did enjoy that one, then hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.